Welcome back to Ask the Advisor. You ask, I answer. Okay, this is our last video, last 4 questions. We are 4 short questions away from margaritas. All right, let's do it.
All right.
We'll be finished for the day.
Yeah. Number 1.
Yes.
I see you started as a financial advisor in 1992. How has your approach changed over time?
I don't make it my primary mission to beat the market anymore. I think in the late 80s, early 90s, that's what someone chose a financial advisor for, a broker for, was to do better than the market was doing, to beat the market. And as a young person, I felt a lot of pressure to make that kind of performance and always do better. I don't do that anymore. I think there's been a big shift in what clients want from a financial advisor. And I also think with my age has come a comfort in what I do and what I know is important. And most of the clients that I meet with are not young and growing and speculative. Most of my clients are a little bit older and have worked really hard to put together a lot of wealth, and their primary objective is not losing it. They want to not lose it, be as tax efficient as possible, make as much prudent income as possible, and quite frankly, then leave it to their heirs. So my philosophy's changed, I think, because of my age and because, the markets have changed and what clients want from me has changed. I would say the other thing about my in general philosophy is my age and comfort with what I do. I feel very confident in my decisions, and I'm trying to put this correctly, but I'm also humble because I have been humbled by the market over 30 years. No matter how much I think something will move in one direction, I know better than to recommend to put all of your assets in that one place. I could be wrong, and I have been wrong. So I think any advisor who's been in this business a long time, any investor who's been around for a long time will know what that feels like. So being confident with a little humility, I think is the biggest shift I've had in 30 years.
Number 2.
Number 2.
What's a statistic that emphasizes the importance of what you do?
This is a fun one. The best performing money manager in history found out that his average mutual fund holder lost money. This is a really interesting story. You might have heard of Peter Lynch.
Yeah.
He ran the Fidelity Magellan Fund for 13 years in the 80s and 90s. And his average annualized return for those 13 years was 29% a year. All you had to do was buy the Fidelity Magellan Fund, hold on for dear life, and you would have done 29% a year over 13 years. Well, guess what? He didn't do 29% every year. That was his average over time. So there were big ups and downs, just like there are in the market. And when Fidelity went back and looked at the statistics of when the average investor would buy and sell into his fund, the average investor lost money because as he was doing well and things were going up, everybody had fear of missing out. Yeah. And said, well, that's the fund I want to be in. And they would buy high. And inevitably, we'd have a correction. Oh, yeah, well, I guess Peter Lynch isn't all that he's cracked up to be. That's, thought he was a great money manager. Obviously not. And they would sell low. And the cycle would start over. And in an interview, he said that was actually quite depressing that he had such a good result and worked so hard on making money for people, but because they let their emotions drive their decisions and worked without a long-term plan, it didn't matter how well he did or what a good money manager he was, because he couldn't control when people were buying and selling and because they were acting emotional. So that statistic is important for what I do, because even if I don't manage the money directly, like Peter Lynch did, my job is to work with you to help you manage your emotions, make sure you're making decisions based more on knowledge and less on emotion, and sticking to a long-term goal. So when I look at that statistic, I think what I do is very important. Yeah.
It's a great story.
Yeah, it's true.
So, number 3.
Okay.
What financial books did you read over the years that taught you the most?
This is a fun one, and I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget. I think it's interesting for anyone who's going to work with me to know what books have inspired me, and also so I can tell you this, so you can read a little bit about the market and about yourself as an investor. So I'll start with my all-time favorite, The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. If you haven't read this, that's the very first book that you should pick up. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. One Up on Wall Street by Peter Lynch. The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas Stanley. Everybody Lies by Seth Stevens Davidowich. I gotta say that name. The Little Book of Behavioral Investing, How Not to Be Your Own Worst Enemy by James Montier. Your Money and Your Brain by Jason Zweig. Panic, A Story of Modern Financial Insanity by Michael Lewis. Actually, every book by Michael Lewis. And as an honorable mention, a new book that is, I think, at the top of the bestseller list right now. The Psychology of Money, Timeless Lessons on Wealth, Greed, and Happiness by Morgan Housel. I knew all the concepts in that book already, but the way he brings it together is, I actually listened to that one on audiobook, and it's really good.
Number 4.
Number 4, last one.
Do you like being a financial advisor, and why?
Oh, I do. I love it. It's my life's work. You know, like you said, I went to school for psychology and science, and I ended up in psychology and finance. And I love it. It's never boring. It always keeps me on my toes. It's a lot less stressful than it was many years ago, and I think that has just come with age and comfort in what I'm doing. And I would never want to work in finance without working with individual people. It's the best part of my everyday, and having built those relationships over 30 years and the prospect of meeting new people and building new relationships keeps me going. I had a great 30 years, and I'm only 53. I'm ready for another 30. So, yes, I love it, and that's why.
Well, you are a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you.
And I've heard more than one person say that you are very good at what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yay! Well, this was great.
Yes.
So this was our first series, 20 questions and 5 videos. And if you have more questions, send them on. We'll do another series, answer your questions. And with that, it's margarita time.
It's margarita time.
All right. See you next time. Welcome to the Rhino Investor Educational Series. Like and subscribe to charge along with us.
Yeah, I think Davidowitz.
Okay.
Davidowitz.
Actually, here, Davidowitz. If you get me on camera just doing it, you can interject it or something.
You could just put that as outtakes at the end. Davidowitz.
Davidowitz. It's Davidowitz. I couldn't say it. That's
You've
what
got
it
it
is.
now.
Seth Stevens Davidowitz. Put it together.